A warm welcome to this carol service from NHS Grampian. Our service is for all the hospitals and units in Grampian, but can be watched anytime, anywhere, by anyone. Since 2020, when due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the restrictions placed on all of us, we have recorded a carol service. This year, although we are now able to hold in-person services, we felt that it was still important to offer something for those who might find it difficult to attend a service in person. We hope that you will enjoy hearing familiar carols, readings and poems, and feel able to reflect wherever you are and whatever your situation. If you're a patient in hospital, a relative, friend or carer visiting, a member of staff, or one of our many volunteers, we hope that this time is meaningful to you, and in a world which seems so dark, you see glimmers of light, fragments of hope, and a sense of peace.
Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven the bells are ringing. Ding dong merrily the sky is rimmed with angels singing. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. In so here below, let steeple bells be swungen, and D-O-E-O-E-O, by priest and people sungen. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. Pray you dutifully prime your matin chime, ye ringers. May you beautifully rhyme your eventime song, ye singers. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis.
If only we had known as we crowded into the inn that night, pushing and shoving to get our places. We were determined not to be left out in the cold, so we arrived early. The innkeeper and his wife were harassed as they packed us in, squeezing our blankets into the smallest space, rushing us from tables to feed the following crowd. How good it was to rest after the wearying journey. The Romans didn't care how much it cost to get there, either in terms of money or of time. What did it matter to them that we'd had to travel the length of the country? Did they assume we'd all stayed in the birthplace of our fathers? So, when we arrived, we were glad to find a place. And so concerned with our own welfare, we had no time for others. The inn was warm. The food was good. We met old friends. The wine flowed freely, and we were only thankful it was not us the innkeeper had to put into the stable, because the inn was full. We did not sleep well that night. There were too many people in too little space. And the smells and the sounds were incredible. But we heard nothing outside. We saw no lights in the sky. heard no sound from the stables, except the animals, and a far-off baby cry, which was nothing to what we heard inside the inn. So, next morning we left, packing our bags and paying the bill, and glad to get out into the air again, to finish the journey, register our names, and turn to face the road home. If only we'd known. But how could we? Bethlehem seemed the same that night as any other, and we were not aware there had even been a birth.
Still the night, holy the night, sleeps the world hid from sight. Mary and Joseph in stable bare, watch o'er the child beloved and fair, sleeping in heavenly rest, sleeping in heavenly rest. Still the night, holy the night, shepherds first saw the light, heard resounding clear and long, far and near the angel's song. Christ the Redeemer is here. Christ the Redeemer is here. Still the night, holy the night, Son of God, oh how bright love is smiling from thy face, strikes for us now the hour of grace. Saviour, since thou art born, Saviour, since thou art born.
A reading from Isaiah 9, 2-7. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They rejoice before you, as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing their plunder. For as in the day of Midian's defeat, you have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor. Every warrior's boot used in battle and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be fuel for the fire. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness. From that time on and forever, the zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this.
You shouldn't have given me those terrible socks. I thought it was chocolates, till I opened the box and found the most hideous footwear I've seen. I suppose they might suit me if I were 15. With their acid house patterns and colours they glow, I'm afraid after Christmas to Oxfam they'll go. Really? You shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have sent me that car maintenance book. I lifted the bonnet and risked a quick look. It's all wires and knobs and sticking out bits. There's so much stuff, I'm amazed it fits. I'm afraid if I mess with it, I wouldn't get far. And the next thing I'd know is I'd need a new car. Really, you shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have sent me that shiny LP, much smaller than usual and called a CD. I knew something was wrong when the needle came down and the speaker screamed to awake the whole town. It must be that newfangled indie grunge pop. Well, whatever it's called, it's gone back to the shop. Really, you shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have spent so much on this hat. It sits on my head like a giant cowpat and looks like a salad bowl filled full of fruit with a cherry on top and a lettuce to boot. If I went out with that on my head, I'm utterly sure I'd lose my street cred. Really, you shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have knitted that interesting scarf. It's quite long. I measured it 1.5 miles. I just got it off, but I needed some aid. Cut out by the local fire brigade. Just so you don't think that this is all gripes. I'm using the pieces for lagging the pipes. Really, you shouldn't have.
And is this all Christmas is really about? Useless presents we could well do without. Grumbles when we get what we don't really want and have to say thank you to some boring aunt. If that's all it's for, and that's how it is, we might as well give up and admit it's a swizz. You shouldn't have. Really, you shouldn't have.
But for all the handkerchiefs, bath salts and soap, there's something about Christmas, something about hope, and a birth in a manger, a child in a stable, far from the shops and the overfull table, where God came among us from heaven above and showed in that giving astonishing love. He shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have gone through all that for us. The birth, the humility, the death on a cross. Yet he did, and everything's changed by that life, bringing light out of darkness, peace out of strife. He emptied himself in love beyond measure, so that life in its fullness and all heaven's treasure, we should have.
Our next reading comes from John chapter 1, verses 1 to 18. The Word became flesh. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision, or a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John testified concerning him. He cried out, saying, "This is the one I spoke about when I said, 'He who comes after me has surpassed me, because he was before me.' Out of his fullness, we have all received grace in place of grace already given. For the laws were given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, but the one and only Son, who is himself God and is in closest relationship with the Father, has made him known."
In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan, earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow, snow, snow
an occasion when Jesus walked up a mountainside, as was often the case, he was followed by hundreds, even thousands of people from all walks of life who wanted to hear him speak. And they heard him say, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Of course, scientifically, we know where light comes from and how vital it is to the development of life. But Jesus is speaking about something even greater here. He was the one born into the world in a humble stable, and is the same one who would later say, "I am the light of the world," and of whom another of his disciples would say, "In Jesus was life, and that life was the light of all humanity." There is yet an even greater quality of light that can be shone into and through our lives by acknowledging God every day, the source of light and life. In Jesus' words, we are the town built on a hill that cannot be hidden. We are not to be the light that is covered up. Instead, we are to let our light shine for the benefit of others. With God, there is no darkness. Yet in our broken world, we see so much darkness around us. Pain, sickness and disease, environmental disasters are known to many. When we think of all the dear people affected by the tragedies of war and other disasters, even in the last few months, we can only try to imagine what pain they have and are experiencing in these places where darkness quite literally has been known to hundreds and thousands of people as they were covered in rubble and swept away in the floods. And yet, many believe God is there, weeping more than any of us can, and when all seems lost, able to bring hope. So may God bring hope to hearts that feel defeated, and love and compassion to those in pain. As we think of ourselves, may we know the invitation of God to walk in his light. May we have faith to say, along with one of the writers of the Psalms, "Lord, you light my lamp. My God illuminates my darkness." So may God's light of hope shine in our lives this Christmas time, reminding us of his presence with us and the comfort and joy he brings. And as we receive this light, may we truly become lights to the world.
Let's pray. God of light, life of the world, we bring before you ourselves, some weary, some tired, from conversation, hard work, each fragile and vulnerable. Yet you set before us fresh air and fresh relationships. For this we praise you. God of light, we bring before you our uncertainties, our confused thoughts, our worries, our anxieties, our lack of trust. Yet you set before us the light of truth and understanding, which knows nothing of right and wrong, but only knows of love, justice, and compassion. For this we praise you. God of light, we bring before you our anger, our despair, our rage, our fury, our lives hurting with pain, and our minds distraught with fear. Yet you lay before us your open arms to embrace, your open ears to listen, your open heart to accept and understand. For this we praise you. Amen.
May the blessing of light be on you. Light without and light within. May the blessed sunshine shine upon you and warm your heart till it glows like a fire, and strangers may warm themselves as well as friends. And may the light shine out of the eyes of you like a candle set in the window of a house, bidding the wanderer to come in out of the storm. May the blessing of rain be on you, the soft, sweet rain. May it fall upon your spirit so that little flowers may spring up and shed their sweetness on the air. And may the blessing of the great rains be upon you, to beat upon your spirit and wash it fair and clean, and leave there many a shining pool where the blue of the heavens shines, and sometimes a star. May the blessing of the earth be on you, the great round earth. May you ever have a kindly greeting for people as you're going along the roads. And now, may the Lord bless you and bless you kindly.